Thank you very much, everybody. Please, this is such an honor. This is please be seated.
Sit the fuck down.
This is the first time we've
Relax.
been at the new and improved Rose Garden, and people are loving it. They're loving it like they've not loved a lot of things. We have the Presidential Walk of Fame, which you just saw, and it just opened, and we wanted to get it open for this occasion. We were hoping we were able to get outside, and the weather allowed us to. It was supposed to be a terrible rainy day. I was telling Eric.
1 second in.
God was watching, and he didn't want that for Charlie. He just didn't want that. So it's really beautiful. It couldn't be more beautiful. Today we're here to honor and
Thank you.
remember
Now
a
we're going to
fearless
the
warrior
script.
for liberty, a
All right.
beloved leader who galvanized the next generation like nobody I've
God.
ever seen before, and an American patriot of the deepest conviction, the finest quality and the highest caliber, the late, great Charlie Kirk.
Less orange than earlier.
5 weeks ago, our
Yes.
nation was robbed of this extraordinary champion. He was a champion in every way. I got to know him so well. He didn't like losing, and he was able to fight people that were enemies, and he didn't necessarily love those enemies so much. You know, I heard he loved his enemies, and I said, wait a minute, is that the same Charlie that I know? I'm not sure, but I didn't want to get into it. But it was a horrible, heinous,
We did
demonic
miss the
act of
debate
murder.
with Charlie Kirk and
He
Hassan.
was assassinated in the prime of his life for boldly speaking the truth, for living his faith and relentlessly fighting for a better and stronger America. He loved this country. And that's why this afternoon it's my privilege to posthumously award Charles James Kirk our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Thank you. As you know, only hours ago, I returned from a very historic trip to secure peace in the Middle East.
I heard
People
about
said
that.
couldn't be done. Charlie felt it could be done. Charlie felt it could be done.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very much. But I raced back halfway around the globe. I was going to call Erica and say, Erica, could you maybe move it to Friday? And I didn't have the courage to call. But you know why I didn't call? Because I heard today was Charlie's birthday. And I said, you know, that was a definite. And I said, we're going to have to forget about some of those very big, very rich countries that expected me to be there. And I can tell you, based on the length of that flight, I wouldn't want to go back tomorrow.
Jeez.
But I would not have missed this moment for anything in the world. Nothing. And it's a very important time for our country, and our country is doing so well. It's never done better. We are a country with almost now $18 trillion of investment coming in. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. Previous administration had less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We have more than 18, it'll be much more than 20 by the time the year, more than $20 trillion. There's never been a country in the world that had anything like that. What's happened to our country is incredible in a short period of time. Charlie was a big person for, sir, can we close up those borders, please, a little
Oh,
bit?
yeah, I
You know,
remember that.
they're really
That was a
leaking
big
badly. I
problem.
said, Charlie, I haven't gotten there yet. But, you know, it came out last 4 months. Literally nobody was allowed into our country. And,
That's right.
The only people that were allowed in were people that came in legally. The borders are absolutely stone cold closed, and they reported 0, 0, 0, and 0, so that's pretty good. But he was a big believer. He wanted people in the country more than I did, frankly. He wanted them to come in legally, and he got his wish. October 14th is Charlie's birthday, and he
That's today.
should have been turning 32 years old. I tell you, when I first met him, he was like 22. And I said, boy, he's awfully young. But I thought he was older than that, you know. He looked a little bit older than his age. That's okay, you know. That's not good when you're old, but when you're young, it's great. He had the best of all things, but he was special. But instead, Charlie is attaining a far more important
'Cause the hairline,
milestone.
yeah.
We're entering his name forever into the eternal roster
This guy,
of
dude.
true American heroes.
This
He's
guy.
a true American hero, an amazing person, way, way beyond his years. And I'm honored to be joined by a woman who has endured unspeakable hardship with unbelievable strength, and that's Charlie's widow, Erica. And I just want to thank you, Erica. He loved you so much. I was with him. Oh, please. Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Man.
I was with him before I met Erica, and he told me he was going to get married. He said, "You won't believe how beautiful she is." I said, "Well, then now that I meet her, he's right." But then he also said, "And you know what? She's like the smartest person I know." See, they do go together on occasion. Not often. Not often. But on occasion they go together. But he was in love with you. He was deeply in love with you. It's great. Erica, your love and courage have been an inspiration to all of us, and we will always be here for you, and we're always going to be here for your gorgeous,
The content
beautiful
president.
children. And we'll never forget what your family has sacrificed for our country. Man loved our country. When things were going badly for our country,
Man.
he was so, as you know, angry. He
It's a
would get
wild thing
angry
to say.
because he
It's like,
said
yeah.
it doesn't have to be
Usually
that
women
way.
are either hot or smart.
We're also pleased to
Usually
be
not
joined
both.
by an incredible group of Charlie's friends, very powerful friends, actually, and some not so powerful, and they're actually better people. Okay, I know them all. They're the less powerful ones. I have to tell you that, all of you
Sure,
power
that's the thing.
guys down here. The best ones in the group are the ones that are less successful, but that happens too. No, they're all great, and they're here. And let's start with Erica's father. Where is Erica's father? Where are you?
One of a kind
Where are you,
president.
Dad? Oh, look at him. Wow. I want to get a hat like that, too. I like that.
Let me guess.
How are you? Nice to see you again.
It's
Thanks as
is
well
it a hat of
to
him?
Vice President J.D. Vance, who's been fantastic. J.D., thank you very much. Great. Doing a great job. Did a great job on Sunday.
2028 hat? Yeah.
With George Slopadopoulos. I thought put him away pretty
Slopadopoulos?
good. Second lady, who's a phenomenal woman,
Oh, God.
Usha Vance. Thank you very much, Usha. Thank you very much.
That's a good one,
Great
too.
woman. President of Argentina. He wanted to be here. That's Argentina's a serious flight, right? And he's become a superstar, and he's doing amazing
Brain
things.
rot president.
It's he's a MAGA person, but it's make Argentina great again. That's what he does, right?
Oh, wow.
And I want you to stand, please, Javier Milei. Doing a great job. Thank you very much. Many members of my cabinet are here. Just about all of them are here. I won't
That's a
go
lot
into
of them.
every single one of them, but I'll announce a few of the
Uh-huh.
people that have really turned this country around and helped me. Incredible people. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Where is Mike? Mike,
Well, I heard
what a
about that
job
guy.
you're doing, Mike.
What a job.
What a job you're
What a
doing.
job.
I watched you this morning, and you're in there trying to say, look, just let the country open. Everything will be fine.
Grandpa doing
We're
his
dealing
stand.
with some radical left lunatics. And I would just wish Charlie was here to fight us. I think the fight would have been over already. He would have had a march on the Capitol by people whose average age is about 21, because there's
Another
nobody
one?
that had that relationship with young people. Right, Mike? So thank you, Mike, for being here. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise.
They're going to
Steve,
run
thank you very
back.
much. A brave guy and a friend.
Oh, God.
House Majority Whip, another terrific man,
Mm-hmm.
Tom Emmer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. Senate Majority Whip, John
Yes.
Barrasso. John, thank you very much. You have all these senators. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm not going to read all their names. I'll be reading all day. We'll be talking about Charlie in about 45 minutes from now. We can't do that. So all of the senators,
Yeah.
there's so many of you. Thank you very much. I do want to thank Senator Thune for doing a terrific job. He's really been leading properly. Do you agree, Mike? The two of these guys have been fantastic. So to Senator Thune, I want to thank you very much. Incredible job. I watched him this morning, and he was out there pounding them this morning on television, too.
Oh.
And John Barrasso, thank you for the work you've done, and congratulations on your success. But I want to thank you all and all of the Congress people that are here. And I see we have our Attorney General here, and you are doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Pam.
But
Thank
is she though? Like,
thank you very much.
But is she like?
We have everybody. Wow.
I mean, but really
okay.
though.
I'm not going to do any more. I'm going to be here too long. But I just want to thank you. Have given him such support, but he always gave you such support. That's why you're here. And very unusual.
What is the
Charles
cameraman?
James
Parkinson's?
Kirk
Holy
was a
shit.
visionary and
Calm down.
one of the greatest figures of his generation. He was truly an amazing
Jesus.
figure. And growing leaps and bounds, he knew that the fight to preserve our heritage is waged not only on the battlefield and in the halls of power, of which we have tremendous power here, including the head of a place called war. We call it now war. We had defense. We had our Secretary of Defense. Now we have a Secretary of War. And somehow I think it's more emblematic, and hopefully we'll never have to use war. But the fact that we're ready is very good. Peace through strength is very important. But also in the hearts of our nation's youth, that's where Charlie rode strongest. At age 18, that insight inspired Charlie to found the organization that ultimately touched the lives of millions and millions of people, and so many young people that nobody's ever seen anything like it, frankly. Turning Point USA. It's amazing. And it's actually bigger now. It's become bigger in the last few weeks than Charlie ever thought. I think his end vision in many years from now would have been just a fraction of what it turned out to be in a couple of weeks, right? It's amazing. With hard work and joyful spirit and endless enthusiasm and determination. And he did have great enthusiasm. You know, I always say you need enthusiasm to be successful. He had great enthusiasm. Charlie grew Turning Point into the largest conservative youth organization in the entire country. He forged a personal bond with countless young conservatives. He fought for free speech, religious liberty, strong borders, and a very strong and proud America. In everything he did, he put America first. He really put America first. Did I miss anything? And ultimately, Charlie became more than a leader of an important organization. He became the leader of historic movements all over the country. There were movements, individual movements, one movement, but it was historic. Everything he did was historic, and a true evangelist for the cause of freedom and the word of Almighty God. God was very important to Charlie. He would say, you know, if you don't have religion, you're not going to have a strong country. It's true. He was so wise beyond his years. You know, I talk to him sometimes and say, this guy is like a young guy. He was really a wise man. From the time Charlie worked on my presidential campaign in 2016, and he was there right from the beginning. He liked me. I don't know. I have no idea why. What the hell was he thinking? He said, you're going to win, sir. I said, you know, I'm running against 17 senators and a lot of tough people and governors. We have all these people. And he said, no, you're going to win, sir. He said, not going to be close. And he made it happen. He helped make it happen, I'll tell you that. Without him, who knows what would be. Maybe you'd have Kamala standing here today. That would not be good. I will tell you, Javier, you don't know who Kamala is. Promise, it would not be good.
He does
You
know
agree with
who
that,
it is.
Howard? He also mobilized countless citizens to go vote. It's called Go Vote. Very simple. And with his help in 2024, we won more young people than any Republican by far in the history of our country. And we won the popular vote. We won the swing states, all 7 of them. Remember, they said, oh, well, if Trump could win 4, that would be nice. I win 7 by a lot, by a landslide.
Wow.
But the popular vote was massive.
That's a lot.
And we won the Electoral College. Remember, they said, well, it's going to be very hard. I'd say 270. Well, we got 312 to 226.
He's going to talk about how
And
the
then we
election
won
was
something
rigged.
called districts and councils and different things. But in one case, we won 2,750 to 525. That's the one where you see the map is almost entirely red, except they have a little blue line on one side and a little blue line, meaning New York and a little bit Los Angeles. I have a feeling that if the vote were 100%, we would have won that too. You want to know the truth. But he knew, and he knew very well, and he also understood honesty, and he was always concerned with honesty. He said the only way we can lose is if the cheating gets so bad, and that's where we came up with a little phrase, too big to rig. We said, go out and vote. Just go out and vote. And we had that. Remember, we used to say that all the time because people would say, oh, they're going to win. We don't have to vote. Let's go to a movie. We'll come home and watch later. And he wasn't about that. So we come up together, we came up with that phrase. We got to make it too big. I never made a speech where I didn't say at the end, now look, the polls are showing good. Don't believe the polls. He said, we're going to make it, Susie, right? Too big to rig. So if you think we're going to win by a lot, doesn't matter. Pretend we're losing. You got to go out and vote. They voted.
It's probably a good way
and
to do it.
And at 9:02, the whole thing was over, right? 9:02.
That was a blowout.
Remember they said, oh, this could go a few days. Well, went a few minutes. 9:02. And he knew that. And I felt it, but he knew it. He knew it. I think he knew it more than anybody. But Charlie never missed an opportunity to remind us of the Judeo-Christian principles of our nation's founding or to share his deep Christian faith. In his final moments, Charlie testified to the greatness of America and to the glory of our Savior, with whom he now rests in heaven. And he is going to make heaven. I said, I'm not sure I can make it, but he's going to make it. He's there. He's looking down on us right now. It's so incredible. Look at this, how this turned out. This was supposed to be so dark and cloudy. Not dark and cloudy, is it? Look at that. How beautiful
he found
that
out,
is. There's no artist that can capture it as beautiful as it is today. Wow. It's amazing.
Well,
as I said, on the day that he was assassinated, Charlie Kirk was a martyr for truth and for freedom. And from Socrates to think, and to St. Peter, from Abraham Lincoln to Martin Luther King, those who change history the most, and he really did, have always risked their lives for causes they were put on earth to defend. He was put on earth to do exactly what he was doing. He didn't want to waste time. He would have been a top student at any college in the country. I know the college as well. He's smarter than the guys there. He was so smart. But he almost, I guess, didn't have the time. He knew what he wanted to do. It wasn't like, gee, I want to sit in the classroom for 4 years listening to people teach me liberal principles, because they were never going to teach him that anyway. But he didn't have the time. He really didn't have the time. But every time the enemies of goodness and virtue tried to silence the voice of righteous and noble leaders like Charlie, they failed. They seem to fail. Ultimately, they look like they're doing well, and then they end up failing, because the truth has been unrelenting over the years, over history. And people like Charlie, it's just they've got a power that others don't have, and very few people will ever have. So today, like those martyrs before him, Charlie's voice, his message, and his legacy are stronger and greater than ever before. They are greater than ever before. Look, this is a horrible event, but it brought out the greatness of Charlie. Nothing could have ever supplanted this. It's incredible the way people are talking about him. And with great love. I mean, I read so many stories about some of the enemies, but I watch the enemies, and it's hard for them to speak badly about him, because
I don't know about that.
Don't. And then you do have
who said that?
In the days since Charlie's killing, we've seen exactly why our country so dearly needed his example. We've watched legions of far-left radicals resort to desperate acts of violence and terror because they know that their ideas and arguments are persuading no one. They know that they're failing. They have the devil's ideology, and they're failing, and they know it. They feel it, and they become violent.
Because they're fat.
They seem to become very violent on the left. They've rammed vehicles into federal law enforcement, fired sniper rifles at ICE agents.
Caused so many problems.
But I was
ugly.
I made a turn at a good time.
I can't call other people that.
I made a turn at a good time. I turned to the right. Charlie couldn't believe it, actually. He said, how the hell did you make that turn? I said, I don't know. But fired rifles and threaten the lives of our Supreme Court justices, our great justices.
Isn't it crazy that somebody tried to kill Trump?
We just issued a
We just forget
lot
about that,
of money,
huh?
$60 million to protect the Supreme Court justices. Very important. We can't let anything happen. In places of worship, we're protecting our people. We've seen that a candidate for Attorney General in Virginia boasted that he would want to see the Republican
Jay
legislature,
Jones,
a legislator in Virginia, shot in the head and to see his children murdered.
What a dick sucker. What a dick sucker.
And now he continues to run for office, and most people continue to back him.
What a nasty dick sucker.
Man shot. Said shot in the head and to see his children murdered.
Ugh.
And they keep running. Pretty amazing, right? That's a bad one.
Yeah.
Let's see how that turns out, but that's a really bad one. Nobody's heard that one before. Especially in the wake of Charlie's assassination, our country must have absolutely no tolerance for this radical left violence, extremism, and terror. We're done with the angry mobs, and we're not going to let
then arrest
our cities
them.
be
You
unsafe.
need to arrest more of
We're gonna
them.
make sure our cities are safe. When you have Chicago, where they had 4,000
Arrest
people
the
murdered
mayors
over a very short period of time, 4,000 people. And then we have a governor stand up and say, oh, things are going swimmingly. No, they're not. We're going to make Chicago safe, just like we're going to make, look what we did in D.C. It's so nice that we started here, because this was one of the most violent places in the United States. It'd be dangerous to be right out here. But you couldn't go to a restaurant. The restaurants were all dying. The whole place was dying. You'd have these gorgeous, look at the Washington Monument over there. You'd have
Not
these
everything needs to be a campaign
and
rally.
monuments and structures.
That's where you're wrong.
And people were afraid to leave their apartment. They were afraid to go to work.
That's
They'd
where
get
you're
into
wrong.
an Uber, and they'd feel safe, and then the Uber would be attacked. They thought they made it to safety, and then the Uber was attacked.
Who does
on the
that?
trip in. But we've done a great job, and now it's considered a totally safe city. We haven't had problems. Took us 12 days to make it great. We took out, Pam, 1,700 hard criminals, career criminals in many cases.
Wow.
But these are hardened criminals. Many of them came in through the Biden open borders. We brought them back to the countries. And a couple were so violent that we put them in jail. We don't want to take a chance that they could get back in, because no matter how good we do, somebody can sneak in. They were so violent and so bad. One arrested 28 times. Every time he left prison, he'd get into a violent incident. 28 times. And we put him away.
Should have sent him to the moon.
But we're done with the angry mobs. We're done with it. This is such an unbelievable place right now. You take a look where you can walk down the middle of the street with your wife or your husband. Your children can walk. They can walk alone. It doesn't matter. They can walk anywhere in Washington.
Well, he's right about this.
Now. If
Yeah,
this
who the
were a
fuck
year
wants
and a
to live
half
like
ago,
that?
a year ago, they'd have a serious chance of being badly hurt, even killed. Even killed. They'd come in from Indiana. They'd come in from
that the
Iowa. They'd
police?
come from Florida to see their nation's capital, and somebody would have to call the parents.
Well, he's
"I'm
talking about
sorry,
how
but
safe
your
it is."
son or your daughter's been killed.
Oh, that's good.
Not anymore. You hear those sirens going off? That's good. That's a good sound. That means they either got the bad guy or they're going to stop the bad guy. You didn't hear that sound because nobody wanted to do anything. Nobody. Listen to the beauty of that sound. Seriously. And that's the real deal sirens. They're not politically correct sirens. You hear them
What?
about 3 miles away. That's great. What a
fuck is he
beautiful sound.
talking about?
They're stopping crime. That's what they're doing. So we're done with the voices of fools. They're fools. And death threats, and we're going to make our cities safe. And I thought it was Charlie's, one of his biggest
The way he
dreams was
flipped
that
it?
he couldn't believe it.
It's what he does, man.
Chicago's going to be a great city again.
It's not DEI
we sent people in
sirens.
there 6 months ago, and this governor said, well, crime is down. Yeah, that's because we had the FBI in there for 6 months, just preparing it for the bigger surge. And they've done a great job, the cash and the FBI. They've done a great job, and they love doing it. You know, they love being
Have
able
they
to
been
do
doing
it.
a great
They were
job? Is that true?
restricted from doing it. They couldn't do anything.
Is that really? I don't know.
And now they're totally unrestricted. All they have to do is stop crime, and they're doing it. By the way, Memphis, as you know, you heard they went in about a week ago. One of the most dangerous places in the country. It's really in the world. It's not just the country. They have very few cities that would compare to some of these cities. You go to Afghanistan, you say, oh, that's unsafe. Well, The crime numbers are much better than the crime numbers in places that we have.
In
so Memphis, I
Afghanistan?
understand, is
What?
doing unbelievably in 1 week. It's like a different place. And this took 12 days, and then after that, we just perfected it. But after 12 days, we had good safety here. After 1 month, it's like, it's really amazing. And by the way, restaurants are booming. Restaurants are opening up. The big problem you have, you can't get into a restaurant in D.C. anymore. So they're opening up. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's called safety. It's called law enforcement and letting them do their job.
Nobody knows what that is.
And that's why I said last month that I have directed the Attorney General and the Department of Homeland Security to confront the very real threat of left-wing terrorism in our country. It's a real threat. Not when you confront it, it's not, because they're not brave people. In fact, they're cowards. When you confront them, they immediately fold. You have to see them fold. You have to see them crying.
I've seen it.
They fold.
I've farmed a lot of clips on this.
It includes dismantling the networks that fund them and finance them, and we're finding out who those networks are. We already know quite a few of them. When you see these violent incidents, and then you see people holding this gorgeous sign with beautiful wood, beautiful cardboard.
You guys seen that one before?
Everything's perfect paint job. And they're all the same. There are thousands of them. You know that they weren't made in the basement out of love. They were made by anarchists.
Oh.
And in some cases, wealthy. I'll probably find some of my nice friends that are up there being so nice to me, especially lately. They're being very nice. But it surprises you who they may be. And you almost wonder why would they do it? But they're hurting our country, and we're really taking it back one by one. If we didn't go into Los Angeles early on in the administration, the commissioner, the chief of police, Los Angeles, said if they didn't go in, we would have lost our city. Now, they already lost 25,000 houses to fire because they wouldn't let the water come in from the Pacific Northwest.
Remember, because the fish.
They should have done.
Remember the fish?
You better do it. They didn't do it, and we had 25,000
Forgot about the fish.
They had no water in the sprinklers. They had no water in the fire hydrants.
The smell,
would have
that's
been a
right.
different kind of a thing if they did what they were supposed to do. We had to break in. We broke in and had the water come down. They actually, they said for the environment, great, they lost 25,000 houses. It's incredible. But the commissioner said without the federal government and President Trump's intervention, we would have lost the entire city.
Wow.
And we have the Olympics going there soon. I got the Olympics. We have the Olympics. We have the World Cup. And we have, most importantly, we have the 250th anniversary of our country. That's going to be most important. And all of these things are happening. And we're going to have safe cities. We're going to have very, very safe cities. So 1 month after Charlie's
You got to go after the people running the city.
Terrible shock and the pain.
That's what he has to do.
His loss, like just about nobody I can think of. Charlie Kirk was one of a kind. He was unstoppable. And he really was. Boy, when he had an idea in his head, he would call me, "Sir, please, you haven't done it yet." I said, "Charlie, relax. Just relax."
Yeah, true. I like Charlie even more now. Yeah.
Got it done.
I've been doing the same thing.
And always will be. He's really irreplaceable. Nobody going to replace him. But they're going to do great. But you can't replace that kind of person and that kind of talent, frankly. The word talent is an important word, but that kind of talent. So we hold his memory in our hearts forever. Every single day of this administration, we will continue to carry out the mission for which he lived, and he really did. He lived for this country. He lived for his wife and his family, but he lived for this country, too. In Charlie's honor, we will continue like we have been to fight, and to win. We're going to win so much.
You're going to be tired of winning.
So
you're going to be tired.
The Presidential
that's how much winning.
Medal of Freedom is a big deal. You have the Congressional Medal of Honor, military, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is civilian. And the Presidential Medal of Freedom is a really big deal. Very few people get it. Very few people, frankly, qualify. It's a decision of the president, but it's a qualification that's a very hard one to get. And I would like to ask, if I might, the military aide to read Charles James Kirk's citation for the Presidential Medal of freedom. Thank you very much.
Oh, here
Thank
comes
you.
the event. Let's get it. Is he supposed to like say something or? I don't know if this is.
The Presidential Medal of Freedom is awarded to Charles James Kirk. Accepting on behalf of Charlie is his wife, Mrs. Erica Kirk. Charlie Kirk was one of the most influential American political figures of his generation. At just 18 years old, he founded Turning Point USA and grew it into the largest conservative youth organization in the nation. For over a decade, he tirelessly traveled the country, leading a movement to restore respect for our founding principles, reawaken our national identity, and inspire a renewed spirit of religious devotion. He was one of the great debaters and communicators of his time. Despite receiving repeated threats, he remained undeterred and modeled courage, logic, humor, and grace to the next generation. On September 10th, 2025, at age 31, Charlie Kirk was assassinated while addressing a group of students. The United States honors him as a martyr for truth and freedom.
I can't remember why. Yeah, I remember watching that when it happened. Holy shit. There it is. She's good. Why people think that she's faking it? A lot of people don't like her for. Why is that? I don't really even understand that. Is there morons? Oh, you know what? That explains. Now I understand. Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. No, now that you think about it like that, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President, for honoring my husband in such a profound and meaningful way, and thank you for making this event a priority amid the peace process in the Middle East. Thank you. Very grateful. Charlie always admired your commitment to freedom, and that's something that both of you shared. So thank you. Your support of our family and the work that Charlie devoted his life
a tale as old as time
will be something I cherish forever. So thank you. To our gracious First Lady in her office for making this event possible. Thank you as well. It's beautiful. To Vice President and the lovely Usha Vance, your friendship has been an unbelievable encouragement. Thank you.
She was married
and
and
to
didn't
all our
own
friends
any
and
cats.
family that are here,
Yes, that's why they were
watching
mad.
from all around the world.
Of course.
Thank you for loving us. Thank you for praying for us and for believing in what Charlie believed in. And to our Turning Point USA staff and the Charlie Kirk Show staff, we love you more than you could ever know. And to the Turning Point USA chapters that are watching all across America right now, you are the heartbeat of this future and of this movement. Everything that Charlie built, you guys are the legacy holders of that. You are living proof that his mission did not die with him. It lives through you. And Charlie always said the next generation will decide whether freedom endures. And because of you, I know that freedom will endure. It will. And today we're gathered not only to celebrate Charlie's birthday, but to honor a truth that he gave his entire life to defend, and that's freedom. The very existence of the Presidential Medal of Freedom reminds us that the national interest of the United States has always been freedom. Our founders etched it into the preamble of our Constitution, and those words are not relics on parchment. They are a living covenant. The blessings of liberty are not man's invention, they are God's endowment. Charlie lived for those blessings, not as abstract words, but as sacred promises. He used to love to journal about this topic
Journal.
all the time, and with such a heart postured of gratitude. And he believed that liberty was both a right and a responsibility.
What's the
And he used to say,
a lot of people don't.
freedom is
I
the
don't know.
ability
I'll
to do
talk about
what
that
is
afterwards.
right
I'm just not sure.
without fear. And that's how he lived. He was free from fear. He was free from compromise, free from anything that could enslave his soul.
Except
His name,
Israel.
Charles, literally means free man. And that's exactly who my husband was. He was a free man. And from the time I met him, sitting across from him, being interviewed
Yes.
on politics and philosophy and theology, anything that Charlie loved, any topic he loved. And I just saw the fire in his soul, and there was this divine restlessness within him that came from knowing God placed him on this earth to protect something very, very sacred for all of us. And he never stopped fighting for people to experience freedom. He didn't. Charlie often said that without God, freedom becomes chaos.
Uh-oh.
And he believed liberty could only survive when anchored to truth. And I remember in one of his speeches, he told the audience that the opposite of liberty isn't law. He said it's captivity. And that the freest people in the world are those whose hearts belong to Christ. But what's so powerful is that Charlie had the ability
You
to
look healthy today?
communicate
No, I don't.
so brilliantly across all generations. And he
It's not
reminded
true.
us that in a world that tells us freedom is doing whatever you want to do, the real freedom
Not
is the
really.
power to live freely and to do what is right.
Well, yeah, it's kind of the
And
definition.
in one of his journal entries, he wrote that he wanted everyone to know that you can't have liberty without moral responsibility. Freedom divorced from faith eventually just destroys itself. And what's so fascinating about all of this is looking back these past 12 years of Turning Point USA and his mission, there's almost this veil of sacredness. Because what I realize is that while he was building an organization, he was also building a movement. One that called people back to God, back to truth, and a movement that was filled with courage.
Yeah.
And ironically, for a man who impacted millions, Charlie never desired to be the center of attention. He just wasn't. My husband was not a man of extravagance. He loved simple but deeply meaningful things. Truly. He loved his late night walks. He loved buying more books than he could ever read because he felt there was no such thing as a book budget. And he loved being able to read to our kids the same bedtime story on repeat because he knew it was their favorite. But to him, that was special. And he loved to sit in the sun on a Saturday morning with his cup of decaf coffee, and his phone was off because he was honoring the Sabbath. And for him, it was that moment to catch his breath and just be in peace because he was unreachable at the moment. And he preferred quiet birthdays. But that never stopped me from telling him. I told him every single year, I said, baby, I love your birthday. I said, because it's the day that God knew the world couldn't go another day without you. So the rhythm of our usual birthday celebration for him was
Yeah.
mint ice cream, mint chocolate chip ice cream. He only had it
Oh.
twice a year, on his birthday and 4th
What?
of July. It's just, and
That green shit?
and then after that, it was back to work as usual. But
Oh
last
my
year,
God.
his one birthday wish was to see the Oregon Ducks play the Ohio State. And they won. Oregon won that night. And it was by far one of the most memorable nights of his birthday experience of his life until today. And so, honestly, President Trump, I have spent 7.5 years trying to find the perfect birthday gift for Charlie. And it's so difficult. And those of you that have spouses or loved ones, you know how difficult it is sometimes to buy a gift for someone that you love, because he wasn't a materialistic man, so that also did not help. But now I can say with confidence, Mr. President, that you have given him the best birthday gift he could ever have.
How nice. It was a nice speech. Bit long, but you know.
It's such an honor and the recognition of a life lived for defending freedom. And that's what Charlie fought for until his last breath. And it was written across his chest in those final moments on one of his simple t-shirts that always carried a message. And this one,
Charlie
bearing
Seth
a
didn't show how
single word,
dangerous the
freedom.
world's getting. It showed how many people secretly wanted it.
that
Yeah,
was
of
the
course.
banner over his life, and that shirt was a
Shoulda known that.
declaration. The same declaration he
Yeah.
made in every speech.
Could have easily known that.
Every campus visit, every time he shared the gospel at a church, every sleepless night that he would spend praying for the youth of this nation and planning for the future of our country, and just impressing upon them that when we defend liberty, we defend the soul of our nation. My husband never told anyone what to say. He never did. He never told anyone what to say. He would just encourage them to think. He would encourage them to think outside of the traditional political labels. He would want them to think in a way that was anchored in wisdom and truth. But he would never tell anyone what to say. Charlie wasn't content to simply admire freedom. He wanted to multiply it. He wanted to multiply freedom. He wanted young people to taste it and to understand it and defend it. He wanted them to see that liberty isn't self-indulgence, it's self-governance
Well, for
under
me,
God.
well,
And every day I'd see him getting ready for work. He'd put on his cross necklace, he'd put his ring on his finger. And the boldness in his demeanor was always fearlessness. He wasn't afraid. He was never afraid. In his daily actions, whether in office or on campus or at a church, it was always without fear. That was his creed. That is how he lived out every single day. He didn't fear being slandered. He did not. He didn't fear losing friends, I can tell you that. He didn't. He didn't care. He stood for truth and stood for freedom, and he did not, everything else was just a noise to him. And it's because his confidence in Christ was absolute. That's why. There was no limit to what he would have sacrificed to defend freedom for all. And if the moment had come, he probably would have run for president, but not out of ambition. He would only have done it if that was something that he believed.
Yeah,
his
like
country
me.
needed from a servant's heart standpoint. And Charlie lived only 31 short years.
He's thinking about himself.
32, but on this side of heaven, but
Yeah,
he lived.
for sure.
He lived every single second he lived. He filled every single day with purpose, and he fought for truth when it was unpopular. And he stood for God when it was costly, but that's what we're called to do. Surprisingly enough, he did pray for his enemies, which is very hard, but he did.
Yeah.
He did. He did.
Donald's like, what
No
the
one else.
fuck?
I mean,
Why
I
would
saw
you
him
do
it.
that?
No, he never did it in front of anyone else, but I can attest to that.
The hell's wrong
Right.
with him?
He also loved people when it was inconvenient. And he ran his race with endurance, and he kept the faith. And now he wears the crown of a righteous martyr. And for me and for our children, the truth really steadies our grief, because heaven gained what earth could no longer contain: a free man made fully free. And to all watching, this is not a ceremony. This is a commissioning. And my message is simple. I want you to be the embodiment of this medal. I do. I want you to free yourself from fear.
Yeah.
I want you to stand courageously in the truth.
Yeah.
Listen for the still, small voice of God.
Chest
And remember
infested
that
with
while
left-ards. No,
freedom
that's not what it is. I'll talk about it
inherited in
after
this
this.
country, each of us must be intentional stewards every single day. God began a mighty work through my husband, and I intend to see it through. And the torch is in our hands now. It's in mine, it's in yours, it's in all of yours, it's in all the students with Turning Point USA.
Yeah.
And before I close, I'll share with you that I asked our daughter what she would like to say to Daddy for his birthday. Excuse me. She said,
Did they arrest the guy? Yeah, they got the guy.
"Happy birthday, Daddy.
I think he was a furry.
I want to give you a stuffed animal."
No.
"I want you to eat a cupcake with ice cream. And I want you to go have
Mint
a
ice
birthday
cream.
surprise. I love you," is what she said. And while our son is precious, he can't yet speak, in classic Kirk family fashion, his actions spoke louder than his words. And his gift to you, Charlie, and myself for that matter, was deciding to become the man of the house and be fully potty trained at 16 months. But Charlie, baby, I know that you're celebrating in heaven today, but gosh, I miss you. We miss you. And we love you, and we promise we'll make you proud. And Charlie's life was proof that freedom is not a
Is that
theory,
early?
it's
I
a
don't even know.
testimony.
I have no idea.
He showed us that liberty begins not in the halls of power, but in the man of a heart surrendered to God. And so today, as we honor Charlie with this incredible Presidential Medal of Freedom on his birthday, I stand here with tears and just a humbled heart and spirit, because his story reminds us all that to live free is the greatest gift, but to die free is the greatest victory. Happy birthday, my Charlie. Happy Freedom Day. God bless you.
All right. So why do people think that she's like faking everything for clout? Like, I never really understood that. She, like, obviously she's trying to take advantage of what she can. She's already giga rich. She doesn't need anything to do anything like this. She did a speech like she did a few days after her husband died, asking people to sign up to Tearing Print USA. She's in pain. Feel like most people will just disappear. I think there's a lot of tone policing of like how people are supposed to act in a tragedy or in a stressful situation. And when people don't act the way that you would have acted, everybody thinks that it's inauthentic or inaccurate or something like that. I think trying to police people how to deal with grief, it's not really that simple. How do you handle grief? It is what it is. My dad, a few days before he was going to die, I told he's like, "Why didn't you go live?" And I'm like, "I was stressed out about you." He's like, "Oh, Jesus. What do you mean? It is what it is." Oh, you missed the stream for this shit? Yeah. What a weenie, yeah. What are you, some kind of a bitch? So yeah, I don't know. Gone soft, boy. Yeah, so I don't think that he yeah, I don't think that would really bother him at all. I'll tell you that.